Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be chatting about my best tips for an amazing and successful natural birth. Now, if we've never met before, hello, my name is Brittany and I'm a natural-minded mama of 4. My oldest is 6.5 and my youngest, my daughter, is 1. And yeah, we've had 4 different birth experiences. I'm going to pass along my best tips from one family, one mama to another, what I've learned. Also, just a little bit of background surrounding my births. With my oldest, we had a planned hospital birth. It didn't quite go to plan, and I had a really rough recovery, ended up with an infection, was in the hospital for almost a week, and I knew for subsequent births, the best option for our family was to do home water births. I really wanted to do a birth in the water, and honestly, it was so much more gentle, and for me, a lot easier, helped with pain relief. So that's my experience. 1 hospital birth, and then for subsequent babies, for my last 3, we had those all at home in the water, attended by midwives. So that's a little bit more about my background. All right, let's get into it with my best tips. My first tip is don't worry. And I don't mean this in like an irritating, like, oh, don't worry, it'll all be fine, like that annoying kind of way. What I mean is don't doubt your body, or don't let anyone allow you to start that little voice in the back of your mind thinking, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if I can handle this, or I'm gonna try. If you genuinely want to have a natural birth, you want to do it unmedicated, or if you're planning a home birth, and there's that little voice in the back of your mind thinking, I don't know if I can handle the pain, like all of my friends or family members around me have had epidurals, or you're just not sure if you can handle the pain of childbirth. Don't worry. You were made to do this, and if that is what you want to do, you genuinely want to have an unmedicated childbirth, or you want to have your baby at home, don't worry if your body can do it, because you can totally do it. You were made for this, and by addressing those worries, you can just knock them out of the way. I know when I was having my second birth with my son, we were doing a home water birth, but I had come from the experience of a really rough labor delivery situation. I didn't have a lot of support. I ended up getting pushed into an epidural, so I was afraid. I ended up getting an epidural at 8 centimeters because I didn't have any support, didn't have anybody to say, let's do maybe some practice pushes and see if we can, stretch a little bit more, or let's, try some positions or anything. So coming to my second birth, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle past 8 centimeters dilated, or past transition to pushing. One fear that I expressed to my midwife with my second baby was I just didn't know if I could handle, I'd never experienced the pain of pushing because I had had the epidural. But by telling her that, by voicing that, by saying what I was thinking and feeling, she was able to address that and tell me basically, Brittany, contractions, they start here and they get to a certain intensity and they don't go more than what you can bear. You were made to do this. You were made to birth your baby. And that intensity of contractions, it goes up and up and up, but it's never going to go more than what you can bear. And pushing, it's the same thing. When you're working with your body, you can do it. And the more you work with your body, the less painful it is going to be. I so wish someone had told me that with my first, and I wish I had had someone that I had more time to talk with and to address those fears with my hospital birth or with the physician. So I guess you live and learn, but I can pass that on to you guys. If you have fears in the back of your mind or you're doubting, just don't even let that take root and push those worries aside, because you can do it. My next point goes hand in hand with the first, and that is to talk it out with your provider. Whether you have an OB and you're planning a hospital birth, even though you'll typically have a shorter appointment time, when I was seeing an OB, my appointments were about 30 minutes versus when I was seeing a midwife, her appointments were about an hour. So you've got, half the time when you're with an OB, but if there are things that you really are worrying about or you want to talk about, bring them up and see what she can offer. And if you feel like you're not getting support, you can always decide to switch to a different one in the office that might work better for you or give you more confidence. I know an issue that I had was my doctor that I had for my visits, she wasn't actually there to deliver me. So that was kind of hard too. You have a break in communication based on who's on call, when you'll be delivering, or when you happen to go into labor. So that's difficult. But if you have somebody that you feel relates to you and can understand you, that will prep you for the best mindset and the best birth overall. And the same goes for if you have a midwife. If you've got things that you're thinking about, just voice them, bring them up in your appointments. She is there to support you emotionally. And if you've got doulas or friends who've also given birth, bring it up to them. Anybody that you're comfortable with, just let it out, talk about it, address those fears or things that are in the back of your mind. And if you have someone who has brought up, I know everybody likes to give their birth horror stories to pregnant women, and I don't know why they do that, and I'm sorry if people have done that. But if you have somebody close to you, let's say your mother or someone has had an awful birth experience or something that went wrong, address that with your provider, because if there's something scary that's happened with, someone related to you, you kind of might start feeling, well, that might happen to me because we're built alike or we have the same genetics, but that is not necessarily the case. So bring that up in your appointment, talk it out, and get rid of that doubt. My next tip and sort of birthing strategy is visualization. I really, really think this one is important, and it is so helpful, especially if you're going in with the mindset of a non-medicated birth or a home birth, because, we don't have medicines here. But I think that visualizing how your birth is going to go, what it might look like, where you might labor, even if you, let's say that you're planning on birthing in your bedroom, visualize where the pool is going to go. Visualize what might be comfortable to rock on, or where might be comfortable to stand or squat, or walking around the house. Even if you're just relaxing, like laying in bed, listening to some nice music and thinking about that, or maybe thinking about it at night, I think it is so comforting to picture just a peaceful birth. And I can tell you from experience that it definitely helps you when you're actually going through labor and delivery to have those thoughts in your mind, have those positive thoughts, and be familiar with everything and already have pictured that. And since you've already got you've probably already got the big old pregnant belly when you're watching this, and you feel, when your baby's kicking down there, or maybe you're already having some pre-labor contractions, you're feeling a little glimpse of what it's going to feel like in labor. So don't belittle the fact that you already kind of know what to expect here. If you've gone through menstrual cramps, it's kind of similar to that. Even if you've never had a baby before, don't belittle the fact that you can definitely visualize and you can definitely plan, and you can do this. You can totally do it. Now, I could go on and on about this topic for so long. I could probably film my own masterclass, because I'm just so passionate about birth and pregnancy, and the whole process is just amazing to me, and I love it so much. But that would be a different video and a whole series. The next tip I have for you is about relaxing. Just relax when the process is unfolding. So I mean, when you're having either Braxton Hicks contractions, or if they're progressing and you're starting to go into full-blown actual labor contractions through transition, keep in your mind that point of what your body is doing. This is what is bringing your precious little baby finally to you, this process. If you can relax, now I don't mean just relax and peace. I mean in your mind, release that anxiety and allow your body to do what it's doing. So for those of you that have had babies before, a lot of people will explain it as, your belly is suddenly tightening and it gets tighter, tighter, tighter. That's the uterus contracting. That's the baby being pushed down. If you can relax and breathe with that and breathe your baby down, it's gonna help. Even if you start to feel like it's getting a bit much after you've gone through contraction after contraction, when you've got that little break in between, keep that point in your mind of, this is getting me closer. This contraction is so much closer than the one before it. And as you're waiting for the next one to come, just gain that strength up, breathe, and get ready for the next one, because it's going to bring you that much closer. And I think at that point, when you feel like you just can't, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to last much longer through these contractions, I think that's when you're almost done. That is the end of transition. At least that's what I've experienced. And that's when it's time to start to do some practice pushes. Now, my last tip in having a successful and an amazing natural birth is to prep as early as you can, even before you conceive, to start prepping your body to be strong and to be healthy as early as you can. Even if let's say you haven't done any form of exercise, or you haven't been eating healthy and you're already halfway through your pregnancy, the earlier you can start, the better. For one, for your peace of mind, just knowing how strong you can be and how strong you are. But also, obviously, it's going to help build up some muscle tone in your body, and it's going to help your baby to be healthy and just overall promote success with that. So make sure you're getting enough water, make sure you're walking, make sure you're getting enough protein and folic acid. All of those are really important. Vitamins, minerals, sunshine if you've got it in your area. All of those good for you things. Make sure you're doing everything you can to build your body up, and especially with your nutrition. That is probably the biggest thing that you can control as a pregnant mama, is the nutrition that you and your baby are taking in. And that'll really help during labor and delivery, and even after childbirth too, with nursing and all that good stuff. Well, that's going to be it with my tips. I also wanted to let you guys know, if you are curious about my home birth, my experience, I do have both my home birth story and my actual birth footage. If you'd like to check that out, I will have them linked up in the cards and down in the description below. I think it's helpful to just see the experience of other people and be able to feel more comfortable with how birth can look. Hollywood often portrays moms in labor as being helpless and screaming and crying and in so much pain and just unsure of what's happening to them. So if you need a little bit of extra help with visualization, and if you'd like to see a natural, real mama experience, then I've got my birth link down below for you. Anyways, guys, thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more mommy and lifestyle content, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.